Hello, hello everyone. Today we are going to see the cross section elements of geometric design for the highways. So, in this cross sectional elements, what are the various elements which will design or which will, what you can say, which will define the horizontal alignment parameters as well as the vertical alignment parameters. Now, the features of the cross section of the pavement influences the life of the pavement as well as the riding comfort and safety. Pavement surface characteristic affect the both these things such as the life of pavement and the characteristic of pavements. Camber is there. Camber is nothing but your pathway, sloped pathway, curves and geometry of various cross-sectional elements are important aspects to be considered in this regard. Now, pavement surface characteristics. For safe and comfort, for safe and comfortable driving in four aspects of the pavement surfaces are important. The friction between the wheels and the pavement, smoothness of the road surface, the light reflection characteristics, and the drainage to water. Now, these four things are very much important because your highway design is incomplete without them. First one is the friction between wheels and pavement surface. If the friction is less, then what will happen? Your vehicle will skid. That is nothing but the smoothness of road surface. If the road surface is more smooth, then the friction will be ultimately less. Light reflection characteristics of top pavement surface. Is it reflect the light or not? Because if it is reflecting the light, then ultimately the visibility of driver will get reduced. Next thing is the drainage to water. If the proper drainage is not provided, then what will happen? If the proper drainage is not provided, then the water will saturate on the road surface. After being the water gets saturated on the road surface, what will happen? The water will try to percolate from the road surface. The water will try to form a crack on the road surface, and whatever the vehicles are traveling on the road, it will create a disturbance to them. So drainage should be proper. Drainage should be designed as far as the heavy flood areas are considered. Whatever the HFL is there, if your highway is passing through nearby the river, then you have to consider the in rainy season how much is the level of that river, how much it will affect. So all these things you need to consider while designing the drainage. As well as the drainage should have a mild slope, and that slope will lead to transfer the water from one point to another point. For this type of, what you can say, high drainage, that is the cross drainage structures, we provide the culverts also, circular culverts for, in between the your highways. You see it below the highway. So these are the things. After that, the first point, that is the friction, is explained here. Friction between the wheel and pavement surface is, as earlier said, that it is a crucial factor in the designing of the horizontal curves and thus the safe operating speed. If your friction is moderate, you can drive at a desired speed. If your friction is less, then you should be cautious at every time. If the rainfall has occurred, then what will happen? Rainfall will reduce the friction over the surface. The surface will become smooth because of the presence of water. The surface will become skiddy because of the presence of water. And the person who is driving, he should be more and more careful while driving. While turning on the curves, it may possible that your vehicle may skid. So all these things you need to take in consideration while designing these things. Skidding happens when the path traveled along the road surface is more than the circumferential movement of the wheels due to friction. Now, why this skid happens? Path traveled along the road surface is more than the circumferential movement. Now, whatever the curve that vehicle is going to take, it will move beyond that curve. That is the thing written here. More than the circumferential movement. Then the skid will occur. It will divert from its path. Then the skid will occur. And when the vehicle will divert from its path, when the centrifugal force is more than the centripetal force, then the vehicle will divert from the path. Now, what is the centrifugal force? Centrifugal force tries to throw the vehicle outside the circumferential path, whereas the centripetal force pulls inside the center of radius of curve. So both forces, when they are balanced, then only your vehicle moves in a smooth manner. It turns in a smooth manner. You have learned this principle in physics and engineering mechanics also. So when the centrifugal force overturns the centripetal force, then your vehicle skids. And to balance this, we provide the, what you can say, super elevation, or you can say cant, or you can say the negative cant. So we provide these things. Why we provide these things? To overcome this centrifugal force. Slip occurs when the wheel revolves more than the corresponding longitudinal movement along the road. Again, the same thing is written here. Slip occurs when the wheel revolves more than the corresponding longitudinal movement along the road. Longitudinal movement is nothing but your straight movement, and it is having more movement than that. So it will divert from the path. Type of pavement, like bituminous, concrete, gravel. your gravel will have a more resistance. Condition of the pavement: dry or wet, hot or cold. If your pavement is wet, ultimately the smoothness will be more and friction will be less. Condition of tire: new or old. If your tire is new, then the friction will be more. If your tire is old, then the friction will be less. Speed and load of the vehicle: the frictional force that develops between the wheel and the pavement is the load acting multiplied by a load factor, that is the coefficient of friction, and that is denoted as the small f. And it varies according to the IRC. Just a minute. IRC means the Indian Road Congress. Now IRC has various codes, as we have seen the list of codes also. It suggests the coefficient of longitudinal friction as 0.35 to zero point 0.4, depending upon the speed and coefficient of lateral friction as 0.15. Now coefficient of longitudinal friction 0.35 to 0.4, and lateral friction means perpendicular to the moment of tire of vehicle, that friction is 0.15. The former is useful in side distance calculation and the latter in horizontal curve design. So for horizontal curve design, you need to take the value of friction as 0.15, and for determining the SSD means safe side distance, the value for friction you need to take is 0.35 to 0.4. All these things will be covered in the numericals also. The next point is the unevenness. Now what is this unevenness? And it is very common to all of you. Whenever you are traveling on a road, especially our roads, so this unevenness, you always feel it while driving. It is always desirable to have an even surface, but it is seldom possible to have such a one because of the road characteristics. If your road is bitumen road, then after some time it will form certain unevenness. Even if the road is constructed with high quality pavers, it is possible to develop unevenness due to pavement failures. When a pavement fails or tends to fail, then in such case the unevenness will occur. Unevenness affect the vehicle operating cost, speed, comfort of the ride, safety, fuel consumption, as well as the wear and tear of tires. So there is an unevenness index which measures the unevenness, which is the cumulative measure of vertical undulations of the pavement surface recorded per unit horizontal length of the road. An unevenness index value less than 1.5 meter per kilometer is considered as good. A value less than 2.5 meter per kilometer is satisfactory up to speed of 100 kmph, and value greater than 3.2 meter per kilometer is considered as uncomfortable even at a speed of 55 kmph. Now there is an instrument, actually there is an machine, there is an instrument which measures this unevenness, and that instrument, or you can say that machine, is placed at the rear wheels of the, what you can say, vehicle. And at the rear wheels, the notch of that machine, or you can say the tip of that, or the needle of that machine, is kept down and it will touch the road surface, and your vehicle is moved, means vehicle will run on that road, and that needle will measure the unevenness. So that instrument actually we use to measure the unevenness index, and these values are given here. 1.5 meter during the travel of 1 kilometer is a good, means your road is almost even, and if it is more than 3.2 meter, then it is, you need to improve the road surface. Now the next factor is reflection on the road surface. White roads have good visibility at night but causes the glare during the daytime. Now which are the white roads? White roads are nothing but the your concrete roads. Black roads has no glare during the day, but it has poor visibility at the night. Concrete roads has better visibility and less glare. So concrete roads has put here a advantage over. It is necessary that road surface should be visible at night, and reflection of light is the factor that answers it. Drainage. Drainage also we have discussed that it is also an important factor. It will transfer the water. It will not let the water to get saturate on the road. The pavement surface should be absolutely impermeable to prevent the seepage of water into the pavement layers. Otherwise, the pavement will get destroyed because water will form the small crack. Water will lose the surface. Water will try to lose the surface. Water will get a seepage through the micro cracks, and that micro cracks may widen. After that, preventing the saturation of water is the best solution over it. Now, how you will prevent the saturation of water? What you will do? You will just provide the drainage. Now, the drainage will have a slope, that is a mild slope, and it will transfer water from one level to another level and another level to next level, and the water will get discharged. The next point is the camber. Camber or cant is the cross slope provided to raise the middle of the road surface in the transverse direction, means perpendicular direction, to drain off the rainwater from the road surface. The objectives of providing camber are surface protection, especially for gravel and bituminous roads. Subgrade protection by proper drainage. Quick drying of pavement, which in turn increases safety. That small slope that you might have also observed while driving on a road, that small slope does not let the water to get saturate on the road. The water get drained off on the both sides of the road. The water is slightly, the road surface is slightly lifted up at the middle of road, that is nearby the divider of road, and thus the water get laid off in the drainage line according to the side, as per the slide slopes. Okay, so the surface protection especially for gravel and bituminous road, so the surface is also get protected because of the slope, because the settlement of these gravels on the subsurface levels happens more correctly. Subgrade protection by proper drainage. Subgrade means a subsurface, that is the second layer of the gravels, and into that the water seepage is get avoided, or it will get prevented by the use of your camber or cross slope. If the water seepage will not happen, then the surface will remain intact. No minor cracks or micro cracks will form in it, and that is the advantage of this camber. As well as the third advantage is quick drying of pavement. Quick drying of pavement means after the rainfall stops, the surface will get dry in a less time, so that is the advantage. The steep slope is undesirable for it. Steep slope is not recommended. Camber is major in n% or 1 in n. Suppose that 1 in 50 is there. So that will be equivalent to 2%. And the value depends on the type of pavement surface. The values suggested by RC for various categories of pavement is given in table. The common types of camber are parabolic, straight, combination of them. Now, these are the various shapes of camber, and you can see this parabolic shape as well as the straight line shape as well as the combination of straight and parabolic shape. Now, the first shape is parabolic camber. Now the equation of that parabola is given here. Y is equal to 2x square. Y is the vertical difference in alignment and x is the horizontal difference. So tan of y by x, that will be the your tan of theta, and tan of theta will be the slope here. After that, straight line camber, 1 in n. So you can see here it will have a straight line on both sides, such like a roof surface. And in third diagram, you can see here at the sides the straight slope is there, while as on the middle layers or middle lanes parabolic shape is there, parabolic camber is there. So this is the combination of this two. So these are the recommendations given by the IRC as far as the camber is considered. For heavy rain to light rain, 2% to 1.7% for concrete roads. This is the value of slope, means camber. That is the horizontal slope. For water-bound macadam road, that is the WBM or gravel roads. For the heavy type of rains, you can provide 3% to 2.5% of cross slope. For earthen roads, 4% of slope is needed because in the earthen roads the seepage will occur more, and that's why the slope also required is more to prevent the seepage. Now the next factor is the carriageway width. Single lane is 3.75 meter, two lanes is 7 meter, two lane with raised curbs is 7.5 meter, intermediate carriageway is 5.5 meter. For multi-lane, each lane will be of 3.5 meter. So these are the carriageways, and as far as your vehicle characteristics are considered, then 2.44 meter is considered as what you can say a vehicle width, standard vehicle width, plus 0.68 meter, 0.68 meter on both sides. So ultimately it will come to this will the room space or room length. Ultimately it will come to 3.8 meter, means 3.75 meter. So 3.75 meter is required for the single lane and 3.75 meter for the other lane. So two lane with raised curves, it will have a 7.5 meter of width. Width of the carriageway or the width of the pavement depends upon width of traffic lane and the number of lanes. Width of traffic lane depends on width of vehicle and the clearance, that is the room space. Side clearance improves operating speed and safety. The maximum permissible width of a vehicle is 2.44 meter and the desirable side clearance for single lane is 0.68 meter, and thus the required length is 3.75 meter. Curb indicate the boundary between the carriageway and the shoulder of islands or footpaths. I think our time has ended here, the time limit. So we will end our lecture here. And you try to take the attendance. Anyone from you try to take the attendance. Take the attendance of screenshot. Have you taken the attendance?
Yes, sir, taken.
Okay.